Welcome back to The Sprout. This week, I am sitting down with Tamika Thomas, who is the director of the CEJA Workforce Hub out at Richland Community College. I'm really looking forward to learn more about what this act does, what the initiatives in Illinois are, and how Richland is honestly being a pioneer with some of the programs that they're beginning to offer. So thank you for coming, Tamika. I'm so excited to sit and talk. I know that we've been talking even before cameras started rolling, and I love your personality. I love how fun and relatable you are, and I hope that you can bring us along on some of the new things that Richland's been doing. I would love for you to give a little bit of background on yourself and how you came to Richland.
Oh, wonderful. So my name is Tamika Thomas, like you mentioned, and I am the director of CEJA. That is short for Climate and Equitable Jobs Act at Richland Community College. I started at Richland as an adjunct professor, actually, in the business department. That is like a little known fact. And I like the environment there a lot. So I thought, well, you know, what would it be like to work here full time? So I looked at the postings and they had something available in the Enrich office. And I actually started off as a coordinator in Enrich, not a director at all. Okay. And I coordinated the healthcare and workforce programs.
All right. Gotcha. So you went from business to coordinating within Enrich to the director of the CEJA Workforce Hub.
Yes, but I still adjunct. I will never stop teaching.
Really? What specifically do you teach out there?
Usually Business 100, Business Fundamental, business classes.
Okay. I love that you keep that because I think, you know, teaching and being able to translate what you're passionate about is a really big key, even in you continuing to learn and putting yourself out there and working with people along that. I think that's incredible.
Yes, absolutely. And our programs are all about educating the community, whether it's workforce or traditional education. Education is a business that I'm in, and I absolutely love it.
So what is your specific role as a director of the CEJA? If I'm saying that right, the Workforce Hub, what does that entail? Is that you overlooking the programs that are under that? What is that?
Well, that's a loaded question. Yeah. It actually entails a lot. I actually oversee the workforce training programs for the training for clean energy job sectors. So these trainings could be in HVAC, they could be in home energy auditing. We have some solar panel installation classes. We also have a pathway tailored for those wanting to go on a manufacturer track. So that's our IJST. And we have EV hybrid technicians. I manage the grant. I contract trainers to teach our students, and I also help the students on a personal level.
Okay. Daily. I see. So you have the fun job of big picture and then making it happen, is what it sounds like.
Absolutely.
All right. You know, whenever I was doing some research with this episode specifically, because I know that CEJA is a new thing, newer at least within the state of Illinois, because, you know, you hear that, and I didn't know if it was a program, but the more research I did, I realized it was actually an initiative that the state of Illinois is working towards. Can you explain a bit around what the act is and what the hope for Illinois is?
So it's an initiative to move Illinois towards a carbon-free Illinois, 100% carbon-free by 2045.
Okay.
This entails workforce training. It entails a lot of communication to contractors and education for contractors. It's really a statewide effort. So it's not just workforce training. It's a vehicle towards this large goal. But the act is wonderful because it not only addresses the workforce training portion of it, it addresses equitability in our community. So usually a lot of underserved communities and populations are left out of new initiatives. This specific act really addresses just that. So it is purposefully made to include everyone.
Okay. Peel back the layers of that a bit. How would they tailor it to purposefully be made for everyone?
To specifically address the fact that we are going to offer this training to people who are re-entering the workforce, Black and brown people who have been left out, people who live in R3 communities, people who have lost their jobs in other sectors. So other acts or initiatives will say it's for everyone, but they don't address who everyone is. This specific act addresses that, hey, we want you to serve, and it comes down with the laundry list of all the people who are historically left out.
I see. Does a part of that also within the act in bringing it to have opportunity? Does it address getting it to the people and taking away some of those barriers and making sure that those people have maybe the pathway to those programs?
Oh, I'm so happy you asked that question. It absolutely does. This particular act addresses these barriers by offering wraparound services.
Okay.
So in our program, we serve the community, but we offer things that traditional programs may not offer. We offer transportation. We offer gas cards. We offer car repairs, because you know what? If you get the training and you work for a contractor and you have to travel to multiple work sites, you have to have a dependable car.
Right.
So the training, will be null and void. We do a small amount of healthcare things. If you need glasses, you will not be able to do any sort of fine motor skill work or installing anything unless we are able to help you with those things. Tools. When you are starting off any kind of business or with contractors, sometimes they don't offer the tools, especially if it's an independent contractor. Mm-hmm. We can pay for tools for students to continue that.
I love that. So to me, that's kind of the nuance, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have specific programs or initiatives or organizations that say maybe it's created for all people, but I don't know if they always see the barriers that all people have. Right. And so it sounds like with what you're saying with the having it be, available, they're also realizing the things that might prohibit people.
Absolutely. The wonderful thing I love about this program and many other programs at Richland is when a student comes in, we're not necessarily asking the question of why isn't the student learning? Mm-hmm. We're asking what's in the way of the student learning.
That's a good
What's
question.
in the way of the student being successful? The equitable part comes in when we peel back the layers of what's going on with the student. Every student doesn't need a gas card.
Right.
Some may need a gas card and some may need a bus pass.
Right.
Some may need a couple of rides by Decatur Moves. Some may need child care or help with some sort of paying a fine or anything like that. And that's the wonderful thing about Richland, that we have a workforce program that doesn't question or the student's ability. We're just wondering, how can we serve them in better ways?
Right. And I think, for any individual who does carry or is in position of barriers or responsibilities or trauma even, or different things, whenever you're able to do the wraparound services, I think it even shows the individual their potential. I'm supported. I have this in me. You're telling me, you're almost taking off the pressure of the other things so that they can learn and actually see within themselves what they have to offer.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful experience to watch from my end, because people will come in and they'll have a list of I can'ts. Right. And the minute I can't come because the babysitter called, I can't come because I don't have money to XYZ, repair my car, get to and from work or to and from school. And as soon as you start telling them, you know what, you can't, but we can, they start actually focusing on the training that's going to occur. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love anybody who I've sat with Richland. You all are very passionate, genuinely about coming alongside the individual within their education process. I'd love for you to lean in and maybe discuss a couple of the clean energy programs within Richland that you guys do offer within this CEJA area.
Okay. So we offer 5 pathways. We have HVAC students.
Okay.
Our HVAC students, they go through our 8-week bridge program, which includes essential skills, which all of the enriched students have. They have construction math, because we want to expose them to math before they go into any training All of our training requires some level of math. We don't want it to be a shock when they're sitting in either a traditional classroom or another type of classroom. And then we go over clean energy basics. We actually explain to the students in the 8-week program, hey, these are your options. We want you to try to make an educated choice, because what sounded good to you at the beginning of the 8 weeks may not sound good to them at the end. So we expose them to contractors and employers who can better explain what the job looks like after they get done with the training.
Okay.
So after they have the 8-week bridge program, they then get to pick from the 5 pathways. So like I stated before, one pathway is HVAC. The other one is EV hybrid technician, where the students actually get to learn how to repair the batteries in the EV vehicles. We have solar panel installation. Students will take part in a very intense solar training where they learn how to install the panels on houses. Then we also have the IJST, which is for manufacturers. So we have manufacturers like Rivian and TCCI who need people who are genuinely interested in the work that they do. Not just, going to work and producing a product, but really believe that there is a purpose behind what they're doing. And I'm finding that students who are like, this is where I want to work, not just put me in ADM, Caterpillar, nothing's wrong with those two. But like, I specifically want to work for Rivian. I specifically want to work for TCCI because they are doing clean energy work. They need a specialized training. And then we also have home energy auditors. Ameren is our wonderful partner. I love Ameren. Every house needs to be energy efficient. That is a major part of it. So we have students who are getting the skills to go in and do home energy audits, to go into houses and do all the tests that they need to do to figure out how these homes are, if they're being efficient or if they need more help.
Okay. I love the options, because I'm sure once you get your hands in it, what you do connect with or what you like learning about and kind of continuing in is going to look different. But everybody has the same first 8 weeks is what I'm understanding. And then after that, they have the 5 options of the areas that they can get plugged into with energy efficiency, clean energy options and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And is there places around the area that are natural plugins for your students afterwards?
Yes. TCCI and Rivian are 2 natural plugins. They fit the mission perfectly, but no employer is out, right? Yeah. This is a community effort. And right now, if we are honest, until we get more specifically clean energy employers, we are just producing good employees.
Right.
With good skills that are transferable. So yes, we cater to clean energy. So TCCI, natural fit, Rivian, natural fit, all of the individual contractors, big and small, easy fit, but anywhere else as well.
I like that it's transferable.
Yes.
Right. So you're kind of building out opportunity within our community, but you're also kind of giving them a ticket and education to anywhere. We recently had visited Colorado over the holidays, and it was just very eye-opening, I think, once you kind of leave this region a bit to see how many people are adopting different types of energy. And I know it can get politicized, right? Depending on who you believe and where your sources are coming from or what you really understand about it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, even before we started filming, I really liked what you were discussing, that no matter where your beliefs are or preferences are, these are still skill sets that are needed. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what political party you identify with. Opportunity is for everybody.
Right.
And when there's major opportunity in the country as a whole, you don't want to be the one community left behind. So at the very least, these workforce training programs are offering opportunity, not just to one political party, but to everyone and to the community as a whole. So you may not necessarily believe in buying a car with an electric vehicle, but if you have an auto shop, I think you need someone that knows how to repair them. You may be a contractor that doesn't think that every home should have solar panels on them, but you need at least 1 or 2 people who can honor that request if you have a customer with that need. If you have a home, we don't want to continue to pay higher utility bills just because we haven't done our due diligence in making our homes energy efficient. So Of course, there's always going to be the political lines, but the opportunity is absolutely for everyone, no matter what political party you are.
Right. I mean, and honestly, at the end of the day, there is progress being made. And whether this is a little bit of my view on it, there's a difference of having an option. Mm-hmm. And as long as you're giving people an option, then you should be able to realize it's just good business to understand both.
Absolutely.
Right. And it's just, honestly, it benefits you as a business. Mm-hmm. It benefits the community. It benefits all of that, whether it's, economic development, infrastructure, growth, financially, business-wise. If you're able to, I don't know what I think about this, but I can at least help individuals with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm interested to kind of see how that grows, I think, in our area, because I do think that there's a lot of people who are curious about it and would like more options, honestly.
Absolutely. I think it'll create an environment with more economic mobility. We need more options. We need more earning potential. We need more businesses here. We need some of these trainings that we'll have to have new business owners. Decatur would love to have some more small businesses. It's a way for everyone in the community to benefit, not only from just doing the work, but we'll actually reap the benefits from receiving these, I guess, creating a climate where we can maintain it ourselves. We don't want to continue, because we don't have the businesses here that offer the services doesn't mean these things aren't happening. We don't want to continue to contract people from other states to do the work in Illinois. Right. So at the very least, we should be creating our own workers so we can benefit from that economic mobility right here in Decatur and the surrounding area.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, it has a lot of potential. And that was actually one of my questions I wanted to ask you of how do you see the ripple effect of these programs within our community, even maybe over the next 5 to 10 years, as some of it evolves or grows or the initiatives begin to expand and things?
I see a complete and total shift. And one of those reasons why I see that is because I've been to other parts of the country where it's a little bit different than the Midwest. And there's so much opportunity there. Like you can go to either the East Coast or the West Coast and you can see different forms of clean energy actively being used and the community benefiting off of it. I see more solar panels on houses. I see lower utility bills. I see more electric vehicles. Now, everyone knows you go to a certain part of the country and that is all you see. Yeah. We want to benefit from some of that too. And I see opportunity. Like we kind of compartmentalize just some of the job tracks that we have, but it's just an expansion on what we already have. And we have some great things going on, but it's going to be greater.
Yeah, I like that because I think it eventually will bring even more people to this area because they're going to see opportunity. They're going to see diversity in jobs. They're going to see the infrastructure. They're going to see, the economic mobility of what you just said, and you guys at Richland, at least in our area, seem to really be on the forefront of that. Now, were you guys some of the early adopters within these programs?
Yes, we were absolutely an early adopter. We were actually the first workforce hub to start functioning. There's many other hubs at this time, but we were the first to start actually running clean energy programs in the state. And we've only been doing this for about a year. So this is all very new to everyone. And it's evolving each and every day. But yes, I would consider us to be a pioneer.
I like that. Being the pioneer, you get to kind of set the tone, right? I feel like. And what a better way to set the tone than, a college who takes it really personally about coming alongside their individuals and making sure their success is thriving and flourishing through the process.
Yes. I will say that Richland Community College was primed well before the CEJA Act was created. They were very successful with the Enrich program and those workforce trainings. So we actually had a nice framework.
Right.
Already had a test going on out there, already had tried and true methods. So when CEJA came along, it was a natural fit. So we already were doing this work, right? We just expanded it to include clean energy.
I see. So does that mean that CEJA is under the Enrich Hub?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, kind of if Richland was Walmart, we were one of the aisles. We were one of the aisles in it. Yes.
Because I know we had the glorious Gina Taylor on with us, and she was talking about Enrich. And I know within Enrich and after the essential skills, because you had mentioned some of the essential skills was also taught within CEJA. So I didn't know if it was kind of a pathway with the Enrich program or if it's kind of its own standalone thing.
Both.
Both, I see.
Both. So Richland and Enrich are one and the same. Enrich just specifically focuses on a specific population of people, wraparound services. Essential skills is like the foundation of it, that extra layer of support. We're a standalone program because this program can be offered, as you know, in community colleges. In some areas, it's in like community organizations.
Oh, okay.
So it's not specific to college. It's just wonderful that we have this workforce hub at Richland Community College.
So they're more like a partner that you guys, I see. I am understanding that I think more than anything, the more I talk to people, that Enrich is a program, but within it, there is a philosophy, a posture, and an approach that all of Richland takes.
Yes.
That it kind of bleeds into the entire process of your guys' education, programs, certificates, trainings, et cetera.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. For people in the area who might be interested, where would they start? Specifically for CEJA, with some of the initiatives, if there's people out there that want to be pioneers with you or want to kind of learn the trade, want to maybe restart a career pathway for themselves, where would they start?
Well, wonderful question. If you're like anyone else, we always start with Google. You can simply search RCC Clean Energy Careers, and the page for CEJA will pop up. You can fill out an interest form, and one of our coordinators will get right back to you. But more specifically, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at tlthomas@richland.edu.
Gotcha. For the programs, I'm interested from start to finish. Is it similar to a pathway of like an associate's? How long is the program from start to finish to give people an idea of what they'd be signing up for?
Ooh. So every pathway has a different length.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And what's wonderful about CEJA is we actually cater to individual needs. So that means every individual may have a different length of time. So if you come to our program and the pathway that you truly desire requires you to have a GED or high school diploma, we can get that for you before you go on. So there's no. To make a longer story short, it ranges from, if you add the 8-week bridge program, it ranges from 10 weeks to a year, but not as long as 2 years.
Okay. So I guess you craft it according to the individual's needs.
Yes.
Because you don't necessarily know each individual where they're starting out at.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Another way to individualize each process for success.
Yes, that's what you call equitable service.
And that's a full circle, folks.
Yes.
No, I love it. I get excited. I think about new ideas and new opportunities for folks. Because I think in our area, we've always had, I think, the giants of ADM and Caterpillar, who, let's be honest, have been very good to our community, have been a great resource, great place to work. but may not be everybody's fit or desire. Right. And so I like seeing different options, and not just options, but kind of innovative options for individuals. As we wrap up here, is there, anything that you would say to an individual who loves the idea, but might be overwhelmed by some of their own barriers that we were talking about to begin with?
What would I say? I would say to that individual, don't worry about it. Come talk to our staff and let us worry about it.
Because you're going to take care of them in that process.
Yes, we're going to meet them where they're at. And sometimes it's just too much to address all those things by yourself. But that's why we're Richland Community College.
Because you enter a community who signs up for your success.
Absolutely, and that is where you belong.
Well, thank you, Tamika. It's been a pleasure. I am excited about all of these new opportunities, and I'd love to have you back on the show even to see where we're at later on down the road. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.